This past weekend, the sixth film in the Evil Dead franchise hit theaters, so today I will be reviewing Evil Dead Burn. Let me just get the spoiler alert out of the way because not only will I be talking about things that happen within this film, but some of the previous films in the franchise. For me, the biggest positive within this movie is how it looks. The makeup team knocks it out of the park. There are very cool tracking shots and very cool transitions. I really enjoyed a scene that involved using a reflection in a mirror. When you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. The acting in the movie was good, and I really enjoyed the score. And I really liked how the film didn't take long to get right into the action, which is always a plus, especially in horror films. I really enjoyed the connections they made with the characters from Evil Dead Rise. For instance, Jessica, who is seen in the beginning lake scene of Evil Dead Rise, is seen in a lake scene in the beginning of this film. And what happens with her really starts to set the plot into motion. Finally, for this section, the movie really goes for it with the gruesome and gory scenes. There were many times that I found myself cringing in my seat in the theater. I remember seeing reports that this movie had to remove certain scenes so it wouldn't get an NC-17 movie rating, and I'm not really sure what those scenes were because, to me, this movie was as violent as a movie can be. Moving on to what didn't really work for me, the characters in this movie tend to make very silly or frustrating decisions, including the Deadites. The whole plot basically revolves around this Kandarian dagger that is seen in previous movies in the franchise, and the Deadites are after it because it's the only relic that is known to be able to stop them. When the dagger is uncovered, it starts to call out to them, but for some reason they can only find the family who has the dagger in their possession, but not precisely where the dagger is hidden, which didn't really make sense to me and it's not really explained. Then the main characters don't seem to have great self-preservation at times. You know, the typical horror tropes of going places by themselves or putting themselves in danger needlessly. The Deadites seem to have very inconsistent powers in this movie. For some, they're completely stopped once you bash their head in, and for others, once they're decapitated, they're still able to use their powers. Like, for instance, and this is a very big spoiler, in the post-credits scene we see Ellie, who is the mother who is possessed from the previous movie, Evil Dead Rise, and she shows up in a crematorium and kills a child there, setting up, I'm assuming, the sequel. But how the fuck did she get there? In the last movie, we saw that her body is completely mangled in a wood chipper. And furthermore, what family member went back to get her remains and have her cremated? That all very much confused me. This movie didn't feel nearly as scary as previous movies in the franchise. It focuses much more on gruesome, gore, and shock factor, which is completely fine. It just depends on what you're looking for in your horror movie. There is a scene with the family dog that I think people are not gonna like and are gonna make people kind of uncomfortable. Another thing that bugged me is this scene towards the end of the film. The main character, Alice, is trying to find the Kandarian dagger amongst a bunch of other daggers that are spilled all over the ground. And the Deadite that's attacking her basically just sits there while she goes through each dagger and stabs him over and over again until she finds the correct one, which ends up killing him. That whole scene felt very silly to me. The final Deadite that Alice has to overcome in the movie is in the form of her husband, and his body is completely charred. You know, like the film's name, Evil Dead Burn. The CGI on him really didn't work for me. All the other Deadites throughout the film are a lot more intimidating, but this CGI form made him feel a lot more disarming. To finish off this section, I felt like the film balanced one too many themes. It tried to balance domestic abuse, family trauma, being brave and decisive. I think the movie would have had a stronger impact if it just focused on one. As a fan of the franchise, I enjoyed being back within the universe, but unfortunately the film doesn't do nearly enough in the scare department and raises far more questions than it answers. I was entertained enough, so I'm going to give this one 3 stars out of 5. That about wraps up my review for Evil Dead Burn. As always, let me know what you thought about the film and what you think about the franchise as a whole. Make sure to stick around after the movie because there is a mid and post-credit scene. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.